What's up, everybody? Good evening. I've got a kind of day one free agency wrap up video coming in about an hour. But before we got to that video, I wanted to jump in front of it with a video talking about contracts because we got some contract information in the last hour or so concerning some Seahawks, and I thought it'd be good to go over. Um, I'm going to go ahead and lead off with this, though, because I know everyone's going to ask about it. No, as of me recording this video, I don't know anything about the Sam Darnold contract beyond what is already obvious. We know the total value of the contract. It is 10 and a half, I'm sorry, 101.5 million. The initial report was it was 110 million from Schefter, but I think he eventually pared it down to where everybody has it now. So we know that, but other than that, we don't know how the cap hits break down. So I'm not going to comment on that yet. I want to see how this breaks down. Some people have theorized that the first year cap hit is like 13 and a half, which would be, I mean, that's a pretty low cap hit for $100 million deal that's only 3 years. So that would be promising, sure. But we need to see. And hopefully we see in the coming days. And once we do see, I'll have stuff to say about that. But this video is about the Ernest Jones contract because we just got the full details of that in the last hour or two, I think. OTC already has it. To break it down here, first of all, the first thing you might notice is that the total value of the contract looks like a lot less than it was reported. It was reported to be 3 years, 33 million, which is obviously really good. But if you look at OTC and you look at Aaron Wilson's X feed and you look at, I think Spotrac has this as well, the actual cap number is significantly less than that, actually. It's on the chart here, it's 26 and a half, not even 26 and a half for 3 years. Now, if you look at the contract notes, it's 28 and a half. So there's another slightly more than 2 million discrepancy there, so I don't know which one's the actual number, but I just to quickly touch on that, the reason why that is that $4.5 million of the contract are incentives and escalators, money that Ernest Jones can earn, presumably by playing. I would assume that if he stays healthy and stays on the field and plays and gets snaps and is present as a meaningful player on the team, then he will be earning those incentives. So that's what I'm thinking right now. Either way, this makes the deal even more palatable. It was already very palatable to begin with. And to break down the cap hits, according to this chart, and again, the chart has the 26 million number, which again may not be totally accurate, but the first year cap hit is just under 5.3 million. So that's not even 2% of the cap. That's pretty friggin' good. That's something to where you you could almost look at this and say, even if he ends up missing significant time with some kind of an injury, like let's say he only plays 10 games, it's still not really a big problem monetarily. It might be a problem with the team because they'll be less able to win games. But in terms of the cap hit, this is very, very friendly. And let's say the numbers goes up slightly because this cap number is actually like 2 million more. And let's say he gets his escalators and incentives, and presumably those cap numbers would go up a little bit more as well. It's still pretty darn good. And I don't think the initial cap numbers are going to balloon that much based on incentives and escalators. I think that you would start feeling that only in 2026 and 2027. In both of those years, the current listed cap hit is just over 10, 10 and a third. And then the next year is 10.8 or something. It can obviously go up a little bit if performance markers are reached. Again, probably playing time. But again, it all stays pretty darn favorable. It never really gets out of hand. It never gets to a point where it's genuinely a problem. I mean, remember, last year, We brought in a player like Jerome Baker on a 1-year, $7 million deal. A $7 million cap hit on Jerome Baker, who ended up being barely playable. And these cap hits at no point even really go all that crazy beyond that. So the flexibility of the deal is such that it could be a 1-year deal. You could just say, okay, the dead money on a pre-June 1st cut in 2026, which is a year from now, is 4.7 million. So you're basically looking at like 1 year, 10 million if you release him then. Now, I don't think you want to do that. But you could release him after 2 years. 2.3 million dead. Basically nothing. Especially by then. By the time you get to 2027, this is going to be like what? Not even 3/4% of the cap. So very easy to get out of after 2 years. Basically, at that point, trivial. So it's a great deal. And I wanted to go ahead and make this separate video just talking about this. This is something that I think every single Seahawks fan is rallying around. There are definitely a lot of Seahawks fans that are not happy about some of the trades. There are Seahawks fans that are not happy about the one signing we made yesterday. There are Seahawks fans that are not thrilled with the Jarran Reed signing even. But this is something that has momentarily brought everybody together. And it's because there's really not much to say other than you look at these other linebackers who signed contracts yesterday. Just for perspective, this is not that much more than the Cody Barton contract with, I think he signed with the Titans. This is significantly less than I think, or no, I think it's slightly less than Dre Greenlaw. And that may not sound like anything to take right home about, but Dre Greenlaw barely played last year coming off a massive injury. So even him in prove-it mode is getting paid more than Ernest Jones, who did just prove it in 2020, 2024. So whatever else we think about the Seahawks, and we think a lot of things, clearly, this is great. And it is really exciting to know that we were able to find a way to keep one of our key defenders from last year in a way that is not going to make anybody concerned about, oh, should we be paying a linebacker this kind of money? Should we be paying a player with a bad knee I don't want to say bad knee, but troublesome knee this kind of money? At this price, the answer is to all those things is yes. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. I got another video to record. It'll go up like an hour after this one or so, and we'll talk about that first day of free agency as a whole and where I see things stand right now. And tomorrow's another day. See you guys later. Go Hawks.